McCaffrey undresses a handful of Buccaneers for his second touchdown of the day.
And that was the last time I had fun, I feel like, in a year. Welcome back to Not What You'd Think. It's where it may not always be as it seems, rather. It's Tuesday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day, guys. Bobby and Chris are here with me tonight in this extremely weird, strange, scary time. But we're going to get the focus off all that with a little bit of football tonight. We had a little bit of news today that we're going to get into. And, of course, we're on the right network, rather. Powered by our friends at Ortho Carolina. Subscribe each week, even though we've kind of disappeared for a little bit. But we're over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and TheRiotReport.com. Guys, it has been not London, but like the week out. I think when Matt Rule got hired was the last time I talked to you guys. And I figured...
Well, that's not true.
It kind of is.
We'll talk for other people to listen, but I mean, we've talked.
Oh, no. I mean on this, yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get through that intro. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But Bobby's over at Tacos and Slurpees. Chris over at Peppa Jack NBB. Where do we even start tonight, guys? Here, quarantined. Are you guys completely quarantined? Are you guys completely shut down yet?
Social distancing.
Okay.
Social distancing.
Bobby, what about you? I know you guys had like the least cases in the country, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, things are shut down. Stores are shut down. Schools are shut down. As from what I understand, more things will be shut down in the upcoming weeks. So, the way that Virginia is playing it, they're playing it as if this is going to be a few months and not just a couple of weeks. So, time will tell, my friend.
Yeah, man, it's pretty nuts, man. And I don't know, it kind of freaks me out the most. I've mentioned it on the show before. I've had heart surgery. Half my lung has never worked, so I've pretty much been inside since Thursday. But the only good thing about this is I can finally try to grow a beard. Because I don't have to like go into an office, and I don't have to.
That's true.
I don't have
you don't
to
have that weird middle stage.
Yeah, I don't have the awkward stage, so I'm just not gonna shave.
Hey, way to find the silver lining.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna come out of this, and I'm gonna reveal my new face someday. But we'll let you all wonder in the meantime. Anyway, let's get to the biggest news today. I don't even know where to start, but
I just can't believe he signed with New England.
I know.
You know,
Damiere Byrd coming across the timeline here. Apparently a Patriot, and like I said to you guys, we'll obviously go to the big news of the day. But I think Damiere Byrd is somebody that you'll find at a team like Bill Belichick or whoever they have thrown to him that can use him well. I'm not ruling him out as having a pretty good year in New England, but that's
who's
just
thrown to him.
I don't know. We're gonna figure out. Maybe it's Cam.
They need to get a new system quarterback up there. It looks like.
Anyway, let's get to, of course, the biggest news of the day. Up on the screen here. I know you guys can't see it. We're kind of doing this from the a little unnaturally today, as you can expect. But I have the Cam post, or actually the Panthers post up there today, talking about how they gave Cam Newton permission to seek a trade. Cam comes in hot, stop with the wordplay, and never asked for this. It's, and then Greg Olsen coming in with a sounds familiar. It makes you think about when Steve Smith left here, right? At least there was like somewhat of a reason there. I mean, there wasn't this like dangling or being strung along, and they just did this Unmasked series where they were playing the Cam stuff, leading all of us to believe I was certain that Cam was going to be thrown at this point in Carolina. How do you guys compare that to what happened with Steve Smith, or are they comparable?
I don't think you can compare the two at all. Because Steve, there was no writing on the wall that we saw coming. It was completely out of the blue. With this, there's been the rumor for months. They put that really fancy clickbait out last week with Rule saying he can't wait to coach Cam and get on the field with him. We kind of all put our guard down. At least I did at that point, because I've thought all along, as much as I hated, I thought they were going to move on. But with Steve Smith, you never saw it coming. And I think the reaction was a little bit different, because I remember it was like, okay, I don't hate the move. I hate how it went down. But, the validation that they were going for before was, well, we can't groom receivers, which we all knew was true. and they wanted to go out with KB and gosh, who else? Who was here that year? KB, Kochery, Ted Ginn. They couldn't have Steve Smith in the room. With Cam, it feels more like the Kimba situation than anything else. They had an asset that they could have unloaded. They had the opportunity to, I'm sure, and then even more like the Kimba situation, they get a Scary Terry in, which I'm not knocking Scary Terry, but he's not worth what he was given a contract for, and it's kind of the same thing with Teddy here. So,
and it's kind of unfortunate for Teddy because
Teddy didn't do anything.
I mean, he's entering a very angry collection of fans that really has nothing to do with him. And if anything, you should applaud someone like Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, coming back from what he came back from, really didn't do too bad with the Saints last year, when he was called upon unexpectedly. And, I think that, do you think that Panthers fans, if whoever's left as of today, will kind of warm up to Teddy? Like, do you think that?
Yeah, I mean, once he gets on the field, I think that being said, the stadium's going to be fairly empty next year for a lot of these games. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to not pull for Teddy. I mean, he writes kids' books, for God's sakes. He's an all-around nice guy. It's not his fault that the front office and the ownership botched this.
Yeah, well, I think one of the bigger problems that people have, and they're probably taking it out on Teddy when they shouldn't take it out on Teddy, is the question of, in what state are the Panthers in right now? Are they rebuilding? Are they tanking?
That's the biggest question, because signing, not to bury the lead here, but signing Trey Boston for 3 years, that's not a rebuilding or retooling move.
Mm-hmm. And the whole comp picks, right? Don't you lose comp picks with the that?
Yeah.
Didn't they lose?
I've heard. I don't know that they'll lose the Bradbury comp pick still. I mean,
I thought I saw it might have been from Josh that the Bradbury comp pick is probably lost because of the Teddy. That stuff kind of confuses me.
Oh yeah, that totally will.
Okay.
But, good point. So again, why not tag Bradbury and then trade his ass like the Hurricane or the Hornets should have done with Kimba?
But I don't think, what was the final deal? Was it 3 years, $63 million?
$63 million. Yeah.
Is that a move you make when you're tanking?
No.
They're not tanking. That's
the problem. You're right, Bobby.
That's the thing that, first and foremost, I don't want to talk about. I don't give a damn about Teddy Bridgewater right now. He just got here. We got 3 years to talk about him. The focus is on Cameron Jarrell Newton right now. That rebuild was crap. They were never going to rebuild anything. The rebuild was used. That term was used to get fans to buy in.
Ooh, more
to
breaking
buy in
news real
early,
quick, guys.
What's that?
Bobby, your guy Vernon Butler to the Bills. 2 years, $16 million.
Yeah, I wouldn't give him $16, but I mean, the term. And thanks for that breaking news too. That is a former Panther. So, but yes, the term rebuild was used to get fans to buy in. They were never rebuilding. What they were doing was rebuilding the fan base. Okay, these guys, they knew all along they were going to get rid of Greg Olsen. I do not have the authorization to say what I want to say about Luke Kuechly, so I won't. But I do have free reign to say what I want to say about Trey Boston, Mario Addison, and Cam Newton. I will get to that later. But these guys knew the players that they were either going to trade or force out. Okay, they knew who they were going to do this to, and that's what a rebuild. They got us to buy in early. Greg Olsen saw it. Greg Olsen saw it in Week 16. He knew what was going on. He tried to make it work. He realized things weren't going to work. He left. Okay, that's what they meant by rebuilding. They didn't mean what we thought, tanking for Trevor Lawrence or possibly trading up in the draft to get Tua, or even the crazy giving up X amount of players and draft picks to possibly get, the golden one, Joe Burrow. They weren't talking about that. And we bought it in because we thought, we've seen hundreds of teams across the sports world rebuild and tank for picks or tank for a certain player. That's not what they meant. They weren't talking about that. And as fans, we bought into it. You and I, the two of you and I were just talking off air about how we just felt like Cam was going to be here week 1. I told you guys, out of all the crap that I had heard, it was something about the last 3 or 4 weeks. The information from Cam Newton, the assurance from Matt Rule, and the silence from Dave Tepper once Matt Rule stated what he stated about personally looking for somebody to elevate Cam Newton's game to have this happen. And I feel as if this was necessary, but I feel the how it happened is what's wrong. So no, Teddy Bridgewater does not deserve to play in front of a half-empty stadium next season. No, he doesn't deserve the backlash he'll get from the players. From the fans. But this ain't about Teddy. The reason we're even talking about what Teddy may face is because of number one. This is about Cam, and he deserves to have at least half of this show about him.
Yeah, no, you're right. I didn't mean to get on a Teddy a Teddy tangent there, but I saw that there was a lot of eye rolling and kind of grunts, I think, about the Teddy deal because of the earlier news. I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, the two were definitely tied together.
Right.
I think the Panthers probably realized that they had to kick their offer up to get it done with Teddy, and you got to get it out there that you're ready to move on from Cam before you get that deal in the public.
Yeah. So speaking about that,
I don't know what's worse, the Panther or Cam finding out the way he found out, or him finding out because we signed Teddy.
Yeah. And speaking about, the way that the news came out, and I think that is what kind of irked everybody today, is, you get this great graphic here from Dave Tepper, or from the Panthers, of Dave Tepper's quote, Cam's one of the all-time greats. If you ask our fans some of their most memorable memories, I'm willing to bet a lot of them would include Cam, sure, giving away footballs. He's touched a lot of lives in the youth of Carolina, sure. This message comes out, though, and Cam Newton is still technically a Panther.
Yeah, well, the same thing came out with, Tom Brady this morning.
Yeah, but you're not.
But Tom is a free agent.
But you're not trading Tom Brady. Yeah, so I'm just saying,
you know what I mean.
So.
Oh well, technically he was. He just can't sign till tomorrow because he voided his contract. So technically,
truth.
Yeah,
true.
But see this whole thing with Dave Tepper. First and foremost, Dave Tepper didn't write that. No. So let's just be clear, okay? So for all of the fans saying, well, at least he said something, Dave Tepper didn't write that. There are two people who write for Dave Tepper. I'm gonna be a little transparent here. There are two people behind the scenes. I'm not gonna throw the names out there, but there are two people who write for Dave Tepper. Okay, so since the Panthers feel they want to do what they want to do, we're gonna start doing what we want to do. Dave Tepper doesn't write, but probably 2% of what we may see. The guy that you see that's non-committal, the guy that you see that's too scared to make a comment in public, that's who he is. He doesn't use these words. Yeah. Okay, Dave Tepper did not write this, so this came from PR, whoever else, the two guys that were behind. Excuse me, there's actually a gentleman and a lady behind his writing. Okay, so he didn't write that, so that's crap. Delete. All right. This statement was the most disrespectful, timed statement I've ever seen in my life. I thought the tweet about him being given permission to seek a trade was the most disrespectful post I've ever seen in my life. And then to be called out on it, that you lied. But we'll get there in a moment. But this graphic that we have on the screen right now, this quote from Dave Tepper is garbage because it didn't come from him. He didn't even know this was being sent out with his name on it. Okay? He probably found out when we found out. So let's go ahead and kill this sentimental situation with Dave Tepper. What we can say is, why would he say these things? He didn't say them. You're going to have to ask the guys. You're going to have to ask the ghostwriters behind the scenes. Give them such a beautiful thought statement here. Crown them. Okay? Because Dave didn't write this.
Well, what I want to know is, it's been a crazy already roller coaster with Dave Tepper owning this team. So, everything that happened in the beginning was amazing. He put the logo on the 50, basically made all the common sense moves. We used to joke that he did everything that Jerry should have done for years, and every move that he made was a layup. Well, now things have shifted a little bit. Through this rebuild,
Oh yeah, honeymoon's over.
Yeah, the PSL prices are going up. They're taking away seats. Things are focused on MLS, and now this happens. And one of the questions I had to some of the stuff on Twitter was, how much, or maybe not how much say, but what do you think? Where does Matt Rule's opinion in this? How much does it weigh? Does it? Because Matt Rule was the one that was speaking highly of Cam.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's all been a calculated, play by all of them. I think everybody's involved. We all saw what he said at the combine in that clip that the Panthers put out as part of their behind the scenes thing. That watching it felt scripted, and it's hard to think that was anything but deceitful. I don't know. I don't feel like Matt Rule has a good poker face. Just I'm not trying to be mean or negative about him, but I just don't think he does.
No, you're just being honest. Like you're just being honest.
He tends to wear his emotions on his sleeve, and the way that he was talking in that video was a lot different than how he talks when he's on stage or when he's being interviewed. And I don't know if I'm the only one that picked up on that, but it didn't feel real. And then just to have Stephen Drummond in the room, what's he, the director of PR or something like that? Nice guy, the way it was just
He's
laid
a great
out
writer
in question
too.
there.
Ask Dave Tepper.
I can't imagine that was truly the first time that he was seeing that video and getting a genuine reaction there.
It's not. It's not. I mean, listen, man. People have to understand our frustration is not because Cameron is gone.
Yeah,
right?
No, that's not the problem.
It's inevitable. Yeah, I mean, we went through, Chris, you can testify to this. Den, you can testify to this. We watched Jerry Richardson, Dave Gettleman, and Ron Rivera make horrible decisions starting with Steve Smith. And we thought it couldn't get any worse than that. An entirely new organization, a new owner, Dave Tepper, Marty Herney, and Matt Rule turns around and makes the most disrespectful move in Panthers history. It's just amazing to me how you can go from one regime to the next and still make the same dumb moves.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
I've been telling you guys for months, I don't think Marty's back the day after the draft. His contract runs through the NFL draft. I can't see any scenario where he's back. And it's not like there isn't precedent for GMs to be canned. I mean, the Bills did it, 2 years ago when they got Brandon Beane from us. 3 years ago. So I think Marty was here to fall on the sword.
And let me be honest with you guys. If an offensive coordinator, listen to me, what an offensive coordinator can come from the collegiate level to the NFL and choose his franchise quarterback. Trust me when I tell you, Marty Herney ain't making the picks in the draft.
Yeah.
Okay? You had an offensive coordinator come from college to
signing
the professional
a quarterback
level.
That's older than him.
Yes, and choose handpick $20 million a year.
It's not like any of us think that Joe Brady's going to be here more than 2 years.
He's going to be a head coach in no time.
If the offense finishes top 10 this year, which would Christian McCaffrey still with 2 functioning legs, it probably will be. He'll parlay that into a head coaching job by next season.
Hands down.
What's the over under on McCaffrey receptions this year though?
I don't care. I'm so tired of these records, man. If these records do not translate to wins, I don't care. Listen, man, did y'all see how frustrated? I'm going to go ahead and put her. I talked to Sheena earlier. Y'all know her, Sheena Quick, on Twitter. She's a Panthers reporter.
Friend of the program, if you will.
Right. Yes, there you go. She called me earlier. We chit-chatted for a while, and she mentioned to me, we actually were talking about the Christian McCaffrey records, and she said a lot of people just kept asking him, but nobody ever noticed the frustration in his eyes and how irritated he was getting with answering questions, and he kept mentioning, we're not winning.
Yeah.
He kept mentioning like he was so frustrated at the fact all people could do is smile in his face and bring up records. And he's looking like, bruh, you know how many games we are under 500 right now? And you're asking me about a personal record instead of the team record. You know what I mean? Like, Christian don't care about that. I don't care. As a Panthers fan, listen, it was great to see Cam break records and go to the Super Bowl. We can talk then. You're above 500. You're going somewhere. But when you're below 500, I don't care if you caught 200 passes.
Nope.
I don't care. If it's not getting me in the playoffs and you looking at 5-11 and below 500, you're one of the most embarrassing teams in all of football. I don't want to talk about it.
Yep. Stats are for losers. We had a great segment on that. Well, so where do we go from here? Where does Cam Newton play football next year? And I feel like we've asked that for since October.
We can legitimately ask that now.
Yeah.
If I had to power rank them, I'd say New England 1, San Diego 2, Chicago 3. Dude,
I've been telling my friends that Cam coming here is not an unlikely, scenario for a year, because if you look at who's available right now, right? Andy Dalton.
Jameis.
So I actually just saw, Bobby, I have a bone to pick with you. I actually just saw from Adam Schefter that Jameis Winston not expected to have a starting spot next year or whenever they play
Insane.
football again.
Adam Schefter also told you Cam was going to be traded in November.
Which brings me to my point where I was only a year off when we had our argument, because you're a big Jameis fan, so you must be having a tough time
I'm
with
not
all
having
this.
a tough time. I'm having a tough time with my quarterback right now.
So no, but I think that when you look at it, Dalton, Newton, Winston, or do you stick with Stidham?
I don't think Andy Dalton's going to go anywhere. I mean, because
Really?
they're going to want. Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to want to have. I mean, honestly, New England's the only open starting job beyond San Diego right now.
Well, they
And-
mentioned Chicago's
Well,
interested
yeah.
in Dalton and Foles.
Well, Chicago apparently made the same offer to Teddy for the Panthers offered him, but he didn't want to go compete with Mitch Trubisky, which tells me a lot about Teddy.
Well, we
now
saw,
that tells me more about Chicago that they're even having somebody compete with that.
Oh,
piece of
no.
trash.
They well, that's what. But if you're not confident enough in your abilities to go against that Tar Heel legend piece of trash,
I mean, the way that I see it, I got Cam Newton as Chargers number 1, New England number 2, and I'm going to throw this out there. I genuinely believe the Broncos are still in play. I just want to put their name out there, but I'm going Washington number 3, believe it or not. And the reason why I say Washington is it's a little bit of insight. When
TD
Cam
just
Newton
went
figured
there,
out Ron,
right?
I'm sorry,
Thomas Davis just signed there today.
he just signed there.
I thought he would retire, honestly.
when-
Nothing.
when-
I don't mean that in like a bad way.
No, I get it.
I just honestly thought that
age,
he'd call it.
I thought he was going to 4 years ago when he said he was. But
I mean, when Cam Newton found out Ron Rivera was walking away, getting fired, essentially Cam Newton took that to heart. That was extremely difficult, and I don't think a lot of fans realize that literally Cam Newton was hurt, crushed by this. Ron Rivera has still been in contact with Cam Newton, despite whatever they may tell you in the media. So do not be surprised. They are third on my list. I'm not saying he will go there, so don't send me those dumb tweets that
They
you
got
idiots like to send.
$43
I'm saying there's a
million in
possibility.
cap space right now, so money's
They
not a
do.
problem.
So I'm going Chargers. I'm going New England number 2, and I'm gonna throw Washington as my wild card at number 3.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Redskins, though, you really shake it up with Haskins there.
I
think-
don't know that you couldn't. I just don't know. What are the weapons there?
I mean, you got Adrian Peterson still
They-
in the backfield.
They got Teddy McLaurin.
You get no one to
McLaurin
throw
is
to.
there.
Yeah, I mean, Kelvin
Yeah,
Harmon.
no, I mean, no. McLaurin can play. He can.
Yeah,
he can
he's
play.
Ohio
He can
State
ball.
kid. Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
I
I mean, in the grand
Cam's,
scheme of
Cam's
things.
gonna go somewhere he can win. And
And I think that I think that the Brady, the Chargers kind of not going in on Brady as it seemed may be a hint that they have a
Bingo.
plan.
I think the Tampa move is about a couple things. I think it's about no state income tax. And I think it's about staying on the East Coast.
Well, and-
I also think it's about the weapons too.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa's ready to win. I mean, they've got to be the favorite to
Dude,
win the
it's-
division at this point,
It's just
right?
it's so ridiculous with the stuff that I go through in my daily football life that Tom Brady will now be in the NFC South and Cam Newton isn't, and he could be a Patriot. Who knows?
You want to know why I think the biggest reason he didn't go to the Chargers?
What's that?
Patrick Mahomes. You're not winning that division anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have gave him a run. I mean, when you take a look at the Raiders and the Broncos,
They
I don't-
could have, sure, they could have given him a run, but I don't think anybody's gonna. I don't think anybody's gonna take them down anytime soon.
Do you think?
I think John.
that?
I think John Elway may take a shot. May try to take a shot. That's what John does.
and that's why I don't know.
Broncos got a defense. That's what I'm kind of surprised Brady didn't
It's
consider that.
It's weird. You almost look at some of these offenses though, the way they're currently set up, and
Right.
it's like weird to see Cam in them.
Yeah.
Like the Chargers
Not really.
offense.
I mean, I think the Chargers' offense is perfect for Cam.
Why
I
do you
think
say
it's
that?
absolutely perfect. I mean, I take a look at the size they got at receiver. I take a look at the Hunter Henry situation. I take a look at the running back situation they have over there between Melvin Gordon, and Eckler. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. This is Cam Newton's dream. And on top of that, you take a look at Cam Newton being in L.A. Cam Newton, to me, was always bigger than the city of Charlotte as far as who he was.
Yeah,
as
you
his,
need to
as
sell
his,
some
as his
tickets
character.
into that new stadium. So.
Yeah, like Cam Newton is he has California written all over him. He has L.A. written all over him.
I think the word you're looking for is Hollywood.
There you go, man.
I was going to say that the city probably plays into where, I mean, it would play into where anyone would want to go, but I think that LA, I thought Tom was, I mean, I guess
LA. I keep thinking San Diego.
I guess you can't force,
LA, man.
I guess you can't force where you go, but with Brady's production company and all that, I mean, I guess when you're Tom Brady, you can be wherever you want to be.
Yeah, they film in Florida.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
So, while we're on the topic of Cam Newton, because I know we're going to move on, there are other signings and a ton of people who have been moved, and the league has been crazy today. Dan, can I get about 3 minutes for a moment?
No, we got to go. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. You never ask me if you can have time. That's why you're here.
I know. Yeah,
go ahead.
It's probably my first time I've ever asked for it. 27 people. I get hit up by people all the time, but 27 different people. 14 of them were season ticket holders, multiple PSL owners. They're highly upset. And I just want to be honest for a moment and put this out here for the people who are throwing hundreds and thousands of dollars into this team, whether you're buying a jersey or you're paying $15,000 a year to see this team. I'm not telling you not to be a Panthers fan, but I am, because I'm going to continue to say keep pounding. I'm going to continue to wear the shirts. I'm going to continue to support this team regardless of who's here. But there's a lot that has gone on behind the scenes that you guys really need to understand. Guys like Trey Boston, Mario Addison, Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly, Greg Olsen, even all the way down, believe it or not, to Trey Turner. These guys have gone back and forth with the front office at times. These guys have fought to be a part of something special and not want to leave because of the fans. Okay, that's first and foremost. Like, that's how much they cared. Trey Boston stated last night, and this is, I can't say off the record because I'm on the record, so I'm just going to say it. He said it just last night that he didn't want to be a part of a rebuilding team. All right. No one's going to find any proof of that because it's in a private text message. But he just said last night that he didn't want to be a part of a rebuilding team. Not only that, but Mario Addison said that he didn't want to be a part of a rebuilding team. Mario Addison has been in contact with the Buffalo Bills since December. Okay? They've been contacting him. He's been speaking to them. Trey Boston knew about this. Mario Addison knew about this. Greg Olsen knew about this. None of this stuff is new. From the moment Dave Tepper has come in, he gave us the smiles. He gave us the logo that we always wanted at midfield. He gave us everything that we asked for as fans, and we thought we were in Disneyland, right? Until we realized that we really weren't. We were in Tepperland, okay? And he brought us in. He made us gravitate to what he was doing. But behind the scenes, Dave Tepper was never fond of the stuff that Cam Newton did. He never cared much. The story that he gave to, I think it was Steve when he first got here, whoever it was that interviewed him, saying he wanted to protect Cam. That was his focus, was to protect Cam, have him healthy, and have him here for the long term. He did nothing to support that statement. Not one thing. He brought in an injury-ridden Matt Paradis. Okay? On top of that, he has players like Greg Olsen that want to speak to him and no answer. Everything is cold shoulder. When you have, to me, Panthers legends coming to you and they want to talk. There's a reason Julius Peppers didn't come back an additional year, believe it or not. Dave Tepper played a part in that. On top of that, and it may not have been directly with Julius Peppers, but there's a story behind that too. When it comes to the Cam Newton situation, last August, Cam Newton knew that this moment would come. He thought it would happen during the season. Cam Newton wanted to step away from the game, but he didn't. When I say step away, I mean as in Andrew Luck, retire, but he didn't. He came back because he didn't want to leave Carolina. He always wanted to be a part of Carolina, but his father was also in his ear because he wanted him to continue playing. Cam Newton stayed. He loved Carolina. All he wanted to do was his number one thing was the fans. It wasn't even about, I just want to be selfish and win a Super Bowl for myself. He just wanted to give something to this city. And he said it over and over again. That's all he ever wanted to do. After he got injured, Ron Rivera protected him in the media. Okay, a lot of us were like, Ron ain't saying nothing. He wasn't saying anything for a reason because Cam Newton's injury was more than physical. And the two of you have had this conversation with me previously. But I'm putting this out here for everybody to hear. Cam Newton's situation was more than physical. It was a mental thing. All right? Cam Newton could have come back during the season, but he didn't. Some of those personal and mental things kind of hit the fan for a few weeks and they disappeared, thank God. But some of that stuff came out. Towards the end of the season, Cam Newton wanted to talk about an extension because he knew he was going to be ready. I was told today that Cam Newton's timetable on getting that surgery was because he knew the situation with Ron Rivera being fired, he wasn't going to have anybody here to have his back. So he had to get ready to prepare for a new team quickly. So he opted to have the surgery. And everybody asked, what's up with the timing? Well, that's what was up with the timing. He had to prepare quickly. He knew this moment was going to come. He had a conversation with Matt Rule and Dave Tepper. Matt Rule was more of a voice in this meeting than Dave Tepper was. They embarrassed Cam. They let him go on national television, talk about how great this meeting was, how powerful the communication was in this meeting, and that he's committed to Carolina. You guys remember that? All I want is a little bit of commitment.
Yeah, it was in that series.
Yep.
It was
by the team,
and there was bingo, and there was a reason that came out.
Yeah,
those guys saw that. They contacted Cam Newton shortly after. Spoke again. Cam was feeling good, man. He was feeling great. The entire time behind the scenes, Cam Newton was Plan C. Plan C, your franchise quarterback for 9 seasons was Plan C. Plan A was Teddy Bridgewater. If they could not get him, Plan B was the draft. If those things fell through, Cam Newton was going to stick through. They were going to play this game with y'all until draft night. Can you imagine draft night watching the Carolina Panthers trade up to get Tua? Can you imagine that? Think about that. And then the word comes out, then, we've given Cam Newton permission to seek a trade the next day. Cam Newton was never Plan A or Plan B. He was Plan C.
Yeah, they got Kyle Allen done before that too, you know.
With all that said and done, the Panthers were never rebuilding. I mentioned this numerous times tonight, but it was obvious to me, and I brought it up to someone today, and they said, I can honestly tell you, they told veteran players that they were going to rebuild so that the veteran players would leave. Hear what I tell you. They told the veteran players that they were going to rebuild so that the veteran players, how do you lose Luke Kuechly, James Bradbury, Greg Olsen, and Cam Newton all in one offseason? Please explain that. Either you are the worst manager of a team or either you had that planned. Well, there's no way you can be that bad of a manager.
Well, when Greg left, that's when I was like, all right, Cam's not coming back. Because, you know, Greg's not going to... I know the money was a big deal with Greg, but I think that made me realize that, you know, Greg, I think would have been a guy that if Cam was going to be the quarterback, I feel like Greg's the guy that would have taken the team deal. And then I think the Panthers would have done that.
I think we all know Greg would have taken that team deal.
Yeah, so that was the issue to me.
Though. I think that from a on the field standpoint, it was time to move on from Greg. I think
we all would agree with that.
I think all these guys that we're talking about, Greg was the one who had the least to give on the field.
That's true. Okay.
I won't argue with that.
But I still don't think that we've seen enough of Ian to be like, we're fine.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think Ian will be the starting tight end this year.
And I think the weird thing about all of this is, like, you know, Rivera got pretty much, you know, booed out I don't want to say booed out the door, but everyone considered Ron Rivera the bad guy as the season went on, you know, with Cam and the way that he spoke, and now it's like all these things are just coming to light. And you're starting to see what was probably behind closed doors last year, and all those guys are gone now. You know, and
why do you think these guys wanted to keep Cam? Because technically, if you let Cam play and he looks good, how can you sell it to the fans that you don't know if he's healthy?
Right.
How? I mean, they just told us that they were going to have him work out. You said in March you were going to have him work out. Maybe you meant work his way out of here or something, but you just told us he was going to have a workout in March. We're midway through March, and you're saying, giving him permission, and then he calls you out. If you can post that, I don't know if you can get that graphic back up then, but he calls you out on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And literally, I tweeted, this is the funny thing, I tweeted that they forced him out. They played a game of chess with him. And I said a game of mental chess, and they forced him out, and they were going to make him look like the bad guy. Everybody told me I was dumb. They told me I was lying. And sure enough, 30 minutes later, Cam Newton posts on the Panthers Instagram page, almost identical, almost verbatim what I said on Twitter. And then Greg Olsen follows it up.
Yeah, and going off on this quote from Facebook here from Will, the thing that bothers me most is that how they lied about keeping Cam. I think that is really the biggest thing, because I think that all of us had the expectation, I'm trying to put my months together here, like December-ish, that Cam might not be back. And, we went through all those I don't forget what month it was, but all those months of, yeah, we got to prepare without Cam, and, but hey, he's still on the team. He might sign an extension. I don't know what the whole reason of building the positive propaganda was, just to let everyone down.
It was to build
or to build his trade value.
Market.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
you
the
guys
only
remember,
thing I can think of.
Chris, you said it. Chris, then I don't know if you remember, but Chris said it. He was like, he said, "Do you really believe Cam is good, or are you trying to sell him as being good?"
Yeah.
Because who are you talking to? Like, if you have to keep saying it and saying it and saying it, either you don't believe it or you're selling him. One of the two.
And that's what goes back to that video. I don't think that was a first take. I don't think that was a live gut reaction. I think it was all scripted.
Yeah.
It was. And you know what else is going to be scripted? When those ticket sales are low, those apparel sales are low, and ain't nobody in there. You know what I mean? Like Teddy Bridgewater, I wish him the best. I'm a Panthers fan.
Oh,
like,
man,
nobody get this
great.
confused. Yeah, I'm a Panthers fan. Please don't get it confused. But at some point, we're talking 25 years, man. 25 years of my 35 years of being on the planet. I've been dealing with this crap, man. That's more than half my life. It's almost 25 years. 25 years. Think about that. 2 decades and a half.
Mm-hmm.
25 years I've been dealing with watching this team do the same crap. Sell me hope. Don't matter who the owner is. Don't matter who the quarterback is. Don't matter if it's Dan Morgan or Luke Kuechly, Jake Delhomme or Cam Newton. It don't matter. I was buying it. I even bought Brian St. Pierre.
Yeah, I'm not buying this one, buddy.
I even bought Tony Pike. I bought Jimmy Clausen.
You don't have a Tony Pike jersey.
I don't.
Okay, my friend does. My friend was a big fan of him at Cincy. I thought there might have been 2 in the world. Man, that's all.
We have brought in, and I just want Panther fans to understand that you're not dealing with a team that is competent. You're not dealing with a team that is strategic. You're dealing with an organization who has always let you down, regardless of who was at the helm. So you need to understand that this ain't about Cam. This is the fact that we're tired. And it's frustrating. I can't even imagine how Den feels. He lives in Boston.
Well, dude,
he's surrounded by winners.
I'm a mouse click away from buying a red throwback Patriots Cam Newton jersey and just sitting, just blending in with the sheep. Dude, I promise you, if Cam comes to the Patriots, I'm not going to say I'm not a Panthers fan anymore, but I will go to Patriots games. I will go to a lot of them. I will cheer. I'll sing the Bon Jovi song, and I'll get a do your job tattoo.
Listen, I told people on Twitter, I said this: if a restaurant is not good, you're not going back. If your kids act up in school, you're not getting them anything special. If you date somebody and that first date is trash, you ain't giving it a second chance. But for some reason, when it comes to sports teams, no matter how many losing seasons they give us, no matter how many good free agents they ignore for hope, we just stick around. I just find it so amazing, man. Nobody else finds that amazing that the only thing people will stay loyal to no matter what they get from it is a sports team. Like, think about that. People will watch 7 seasons of a show, fall in love with the characters, and as soon as they bring somebody on the show they don't like, they don't watch it no more. People will be married to somebody for 20 years, but as soon as they start acting different, they want a divorce.
Yeah. Well, and don't get me wrong. I get, some people are saying, football players come and go. I get that. But when you have the best player that your franchise has ever had, is that okay to say?
Yeah.
And
we can definitely say that.
Because I think the biggest...
I think a better way to put it, the most important player team's ever had.
And before that, real quick, Edgar, no, my friend is not Tony Pike. So maybe there's 3 jerseys. No, but I think that the biggest problem that we haven't even touched upon is you probably can't even trade Cam Newton now.
No, he has, yeah.
Like, it's one thing if, hey, listen, we're not going to re-sign Cam or for the future, this is the move, and we're going to get, what do you think the best scenario, even if it's kind of a stretch, what do you think was one of the best things you could have gotten in return?
Hold on, hold on, really quick.
No, you could have gotten in return if you did it right.
Maybe
it did. Time out real quick. I don't mean to interrupt y'all, but Ezel 704. Let me get something straight with you really quick.
I don't know.
You said you're Panthers fans because you're locals, and we chose this team for the players. Let me help you understand something, son.
Because I'm local.
I was like 10 or 11 years old when I chose the Carolina Panthers. I had never even seen them play.
I literally live in Boston.
I chose this team for you to say I chose this team for the players. Let me help you understand something. I was around when I didn't even know what a first down was. I couldn't tell you who the quarterback was when I first started liking this team. All I know is I had a Kerry Collins jersey and a Panthers starter jacket. So I didn't choose this team for the players. I chose this team because they were the closest to me outside of the Redskins, and I couldn't stand watching everybody with the Redskins. Mm-hmm. So I became a Panthers fan because they were different than me. Mm-hmm. I had the apparel, and my cousin was like, no, you a Panthers fan now, bro. You got the apparel, so I rock with it. So please let me help you understand. This ain't a one and done over here. I've been carrying this too long. Okay, so for you to sit there and come out your mouth and say we became Panthers fans because of the players, trust me when I tell you, no, we did not. Nobody would be sitting here giving you podcasts week in and week out, arguing with you stupid idiots on Twitter week in and week out over Cam Newton or over
we've got 4 years invested in.
Dude, I could have gone to 6 parades, but I didn't.
Sick brag.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying was, what do you think the best return that you could have gotten for Cam Newton was if you did it right?
I think a 2.
Okay.
Was probably the best you were going to get.
Because now do you and you guys on social networks, I did never touch upon this, but it's awesome that we get Periscope, we got Facebook, Riot Report, YouTube. We get all the comments here, so keep them coming in, put them up on the screen as much as you can.
Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
Do you see why I get irritated? I hate to keep doing this to the show because I know we live.
No, I know why you get irritated.
But you do you see why?
It's because the guy glitch. It's because of the glitch.
Now he said I said I was gonna jump ship. At one point I already knew Cam was leaving. You idiot.
Yeah.
So for you to say I said I was going to jump ship, I told y'all in 2018 Cam was leaving. Just so happened to be because of an injury.
I'm not.
Played up injury. That
I'm also not jumping ship. I
told y'all in
joke.
July and August.
Yeah.
I told y'all in July and August of 2019 Cam was leaving.
Yeah. Anyway. No, I just don't read those things, Bobby. You just
never read. First rule of the internet, man. Don't read the
comments. Because sorry to cut you off, Bobby, but.
No, you good, man.
Do you even get anything for Cam now?
No, I think you got
unless
will a team trade for Cam? Let's ask that question.
I still think that there's the likelihood of it because at this point the team doesn't care about what's doing best for Cam. Because if that was the case, he'd already be released. So I think somebody may swing something, a 7th or a 6th or something. They may swing something just so they've got him under contract for 1 year. Now, as I say, Cam's going to show up for that 1 year. Most quarterbacks don't play with 1 year on their contract unless they're 40. But I could see somebody who doesn't have a ton of cap space trading, just biting the bullet and trading the 7th.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now you're going to be like, fine, whatever.
I think we can get a first rounder for him if we get Bill O'Brien on the phone.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
We could probably get him and J.J. Watt.
Wait, isn't it the other way
Listen.
around? We
Listen, the way that I feel, yeah, whatever, man. Just make sure you're specific next time. But anyway, I feel like you can get nothing for him more than maybe a late third rounder, maybe at this
oh,
point.
I would
I think,
love that at this point.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
that'd be
notice I said maybe.
But look at
Yeah,
the
I
general
said
manager is
maybe.
doing this, so I doubt that they're that savvy.
Yeah.
What do you think
Yeah.
chess match between Bill O'Brien and Marty Herney would be like?
It wouldn't finish. Nobody would win.
Yeah. Yeah, they would. Yeah, I don't know who's doing worse right now. I mean, has there ever been a team that has kind of sold a guy out like that? Like, what if there has to have been?
I mean,
Like, what are
that's
some
not the
examples?
First time it's happened, but I mean,
I can't think of any.
Oh man, how about oh man, the Jets and Brett Favre.
There you go.
No, I don't know. I mean, lots of players have been done dirty. Joe Flacco last year in Baltimore.
Mhm.
What did he get moved for? A 7th rounder, 6th round, or something, just to clear his cap space.
Yeah, and you know what? If there's silver linings, there were so many people that hated the fact that they were, that Joe was gone, and it was, they were relying on Jackson, and so look what happens,
Yep, first round exit.
and so, I don't know, you never know, but, I guess there are some. Oh yeah, Vernon Butler. There's the deal right there for you, Bobby. Vernon getting up
You
to
guys really
18
love to bring
million.
up Vernon Butler to me, don't you?
Yeah, he's your boy. He's your boy.
Huh.
So, anyway, let's shift it off Cam for a little bit because obviously that's a big deal. And I think that and I said this the other day, and this actually plays into why we haven't done a pod in a while. I'm not
fatigue.
Yeah, and no, I'm not jumping ship. And the whole thing about me saying I'm going to Patriots games is because they literally played 20 minutes from me. And I'm literally in this city, the only Panthers fan, or a few Panthers fans. Shout out to Beantown Riot. Was that
Shout out to beans in general.
Yeah, what's up? Bush's
Ain't no more in the
Bush
store, by
baked
the way.
beans. So I think that honestly, I was just like so numb to everything that happened last year.
Yeah.
That I just like needed a break.
Well, I think one thing that people don't realize, you to the max, me to a lesser extent, but just how draining travel gets.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going and partying and like showing up on Friday and getting blackout until your flight Sunday night. I mean, it is that, but like it takes a toll.
Yeah.
And I remember coming back from London, and I was, that was 17 days for me,
Mhm.
and knowing that was the peak of the season at that
That
point.
was the last
Wasn't
time I
gonna-
had fun.
Yeah, and it really was, and it kind of all went downhill after that, and just I left a Panthers game early for the first time ever this year, and that was 3 hours of soul searching on the way back to Raleigh,
Yeah.
and I mean it took its toll. I didn't want to talk about it anymore. I
Right.
didn't want to read about it anymore. I'm more, not because they're not happening right now, but like from sports in general, I'm more disconnected from sports in general because of what the Panthers did to me in the last
Mhm.
season. Like
Yeah.
when the Luke news came across, I was already numb. I was already, there's never anything negative for Luke, obviously. Good for him. He wants to play with a full deck of cards the rest of his life. Who can fault the guy? He doesn't want to put his body and his mind on the line for this garbage. I don't fault him.
Yeah.
End of the day, I got to pay an invoice by May 1st for tickets next year. I'm going to pay it, because hopefully eventually one day it'll be worth going to again. But for someone like me, it's a 6-hour investment in driving to those games. And it gets real old to drive up there. When we were down to the Saints in week 17, what were we down at the end of the first half? Like 28
Oh
to
God.
nothing or
Yeah.
something?
Some of those games are just.
And we kicked a field goal inside the 5. Like
So-
and that's the thing that people don't get, Chris.
That was it, man. Like I couldn't deal with
Yeah.
it.
I hadn't.
That's the thing people don't get, man. They don't realize like we don't just live there. We can't drive. I can't drive 15
Yeah.
minutes to a game and then not be frustrated. Like I have to drive 6 hours there, right? That's gas, pay for a ticket, stay in a hotel, eat while I'm there. And then if we get blown out or we lose, I got to drive 6 hours back after loss. Y'all drive 20 minutes home. I got to drive 6 hours home. And excuse me, Chris, you can attest to this. Then you can probably attest to this. Actually, like 7.5 hours after the traffic. In the little idiotic roads that they'll never finish stacks up.
Yep.
So, like, come on, man. Like, people really don't get it. Like, that's 13 and a half, almost 14 hours total we got to do.
I'll leave my house at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm lucky to get back by 9 o'clock on Sundays.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, and that's where our frustration comes from. We don't just, it ain't just us leaving our house.
It's an emotional, financial, metaphoric, ergonomic investment.
Well,
it's just drained right now. Battery. Give me something to cheer for.
Exactly. This year,
that's the best way I can put it. Give me something to cheer for.
This year was the first time I turned the TV off multiple times. Yeah. And at the game I went to this year, which was against Atlanta, I left at halftime. I hung out with you, Chris. And
we didn't even go back.
And I never went back to my seat. Like that's not a football game anymore. No.
You're right. We sat out there and just drank beers out there. We didn't even go and watch the game.
Yeah. And one of the things that I said to a few people that I talked to about this was in another reason why I just didn't have topics, because there were so many things that were just moving. And I said, the biggest thing that kills me is, A, you see the attendance, right? But B, no one really has known what was going on for months. Like, people's PSLs are going up while the team's dissolving.
And being taken away.
Yeah, and you're losing seats. No one knew what was happening with Cam. And there were times when there was stuff on Twitter about trading Christian McCaffrey when, like, last year, that would have been the laughing stock of sports. And nobody knows what's going on as a Panther fan. And it's just like, it's a crappy time. And now you add today to it. And I'm not saying that no one's going to go to games, but I think the fans honestly have been done a kind of a big disservice in the last 2 years. And I know that Cam, don't get me wrong, Cam getting hurt is a big part of that, but it's been pretty bad.
I mean, you got to understand that running back isn't going to draw people to sell out a stadium. As good as Christian McCaffrey is, he's not gonna fix that. And it's not going to fix ticket sales. It's not going to fix apparel sales. Like, Cam Newton was just different. Quarterbacks are just different, man. Like, you can have a quarterback and miss the playoffs 2 years in a row and still sell good tickets. But nobody's buying tickets to see a running back run. Like, nobody. Quarterbacks make the game fun. Running backs add to the game.
Especially if you run to death.
There you go. So, I mean, I tell people all the time, like, it's not even just Cam. It's just, period, quarterback play. If Teddy Bridgewater comes in here and somehow we 3-0, you better believe those tickets going to sell.
Yeah.
You better believe those seats going to fill up, but it's going to have to work. And I don't expect him to come in and be 3-0. I expect this to be more of a 6-10 season, and maybe 2021 when that cap really opens up, we can go make some changes and maybe get somebody in the draft. But next season is going to be a mediocre ticket sales season. You got multiple people. Like I said, man, I had like 11 PSL owners hit me up and say they emailed and requested. A couple of them said they called. Most of them said they emailed and requested to just get rid of it. They don't want it anymore. And it's crazy what one man can do. Some people may say that, but I say it's crazy when you find out the truth and what that can do. So fans will back you. And again, just to address the statement, because I saw it in the comments earlier, and it wasn't about anybody jumping ship. We just trying to open up y'all eyes to what y'all are dealing with. It ain't got nothing to do with us saying you shouldn't be loyal. We're just saying if you're going to be loyal, you need to know what you're dealing with. Like, you need to be able to make a conscious effort, a conscious decision to say, okay, I know the truth, so I'm going to support it. Or either I don't know the truth, I'm not going to support it.
I wonder if any of those commenters' kids are named after Panthers.
Well, there's a big difference.
I mean, my kid is. I don't know how committed they are.
Hold on. There's a really big difference between being able to call out your team and still wear their stuff and jumping ship. I don't think
nobody here is talking about jumping.
I don't think anyone. I made the joke about going to Patriots games to go see Cam Newton, which I'll probably do.
If he signs up there, I'd make the trip up to see you.
If Cam Newton played for the Washington Redskins, if he played for the Redskins, I'm driving 3.5 hours to see him play. Period.
Yeah. But the problem is,
our pal Spence, he went to LA last year to see Thomas Davis play.
Dude,
I'd do the same thing if I could.
I don't even know what I was just gonna say. Great.
They took our gerbs.
But anyway, it is.
Well, I know you were talking about.
Oh no.
Basically saying-
Sorry. What I was gonna say was, don't get me wrong. Like there's teams that, you know, if you're a fan of a team and it's just not happening, right? You get the Dolphins, you get the Bengals, you just get cellar dweller teams, right? Then, you know, that's a tough thing to do. You sit there, you win a game and you're not sure if you're happy or not. But where the Panthers were just a few years ago,
Yeah, we were going to be a dynasty.
is not
You
a
know?
team that should be in the spot they are right now. And I think that's
But
the
man, I
that's
always
the
ask
overall
you this,
thing we're
though.
saying.
How many teams do you really know where they were 5 years? They remained there, other than the Patriots. Like you can honestly say
the
a
Browns
half
still
a.
shitty.
I'm talking about on the verge of being something special, like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like to really say that they were that same team. You look at most teams that's lost the Super Bowl within 2 or 3 seasons. That nothing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's not surprising to me. I just expected to get back to the Super Bowl with Cam and Luke. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I expected. I'm
I'm
not
with you.
saying, yeah, and that's where my frustration came in. But listen, if you're a fan and you live in Charlotte, cool. Kudos to you. Kudos that you happen to be somewhere where a team is. Okay, but to those of you who make it seem like you're superior, and this isn't to the guy I was talking to earlier, but to those of you who make it seem like you're superior because you're closer to the stadium or you have season tickets or you're a PSL owner, you're no more special than we are, because if Dave Tepper sees you, he won't know your name. All right, so let's just make that clear. As much money as you put into that team and as much time as you spend at that stadium because you live right there, if those players saw you, they don't have a clue who you are. They don't know if that's your 1,000th game or your first.
Yeah.
Okay, so please understand that us people who don't, and again, this isn't an attack on him. I just saw a conversation in there. Okay, so it doesn't matter if this is your first game or your 1,000th. You pay $50 or you pay $500. None of that matters. You're there to support the team. You're giving love to the team. Let's just celebrate being fans and stop all this tit for tat stuff, because nobody's greater than the next person. We're all here to watch this team hopefully be successful, and we've all been let down. We're all in the same bracket.
Yeah.
All right, so you just happened to watch the team lose closer than the other person did. That's it.
Yeah.
Trust me, I wish I could get a light rail home after the game.
Hey, you and me both.
Shout out to Catman here on with us too. What's up, man?
What's up, Cat?
Yeah, and you know, I think that, you know, obviously the times right now are really weird, just in the world, period. Like the last thing
Why,
we need,
what's up?
the last thing we need to be doing is arguing about a football team. But I think that it's fine to be disappointed, but also somewhat optimistic. I mean, no one's saying that this can't be turned around. It's just I think a lot of fans feel betrayed as much as Cam feels betrayed, and I think that's fine. I think that there's nothing wrong
totally.
with them feeling that way. I don't think that
Totally.
you should tell somebody to get over it. You know, I think that you do have attachment to people, and they will get over it. You know, I mean, Tom Brady just left the Patriots. Do you want me to tell you what people are doing here?
Yes.
It's pretty bad. There's tears. There's literal tears. There's I'm never
But to
watching
be fair,
football
Tom
again.
did give him 6 rings. So.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, he was a system quarterback.
I believe that.
Always had a top defense. But anyway, it's funny how quick an hour goes by when you have this crazy news. But you know, other deals being made. So real quickly, I thought Trey Boston was completely gone.
Yeah.
I never thought I would see that tweet today, but the
Yeah.
Panthers did pick him up.
He's going to have a great summer.
Yeah. Colin Jones apparently didn't want to be part of the rebuild.
Oh, I just saw one that apparently happened this morning. Jason Witten to the Raiders.
Yeah, I saw that. It's the most confusing
thought he
thing
was
I've ever
dead.
seen.
Jason, wait, who did they just sign a quarterback? Mariota, right?
Yeah,
The
Marcus.
Raiders, yeah.
What's up with Derek
Eminem.
Carr?
What ain't up with Derek Carr? You seen him play?
I mean, he'll probably play somewhere, right?
If he, worried more about the playbook versus his eyeliner, maybe they'd win a game.
I mean, listen, to be completely honest with you, I watch about 7 Raider games a year because my cousin is a huge Raiders fan. However, here's the thing that really gets me about Derek Carr. He'll be having a great game, and then in the fourth quarter he'll just do something dumb,
Mhm.
and then he'll do it again. So it's like he has the potential, but in my eyes, I see him as the same as I see Baker Mayfield and Mitchell Trubisky. They're just really good backups.
Yeah. And you
Only
need
one's a Tar Heel
you
legend.
need a
though.
good backup, you know?
This is true.
Out of those three, if you could have any one of them, who would you take?
Who are the three again? Carr.
Baker, Carr, and Mitch.
Oh, Baker.
Yeah, I'm taking Baker just off the fact
That's
that
not
he
even
may
close.
have that potential.
Also, the whole like Baker Snapchat thing that happened a few weeks ago.
Okay,
was pretty
here's
hilarious.
an easier. Here's a better question. Who if you can only take two, who you taking?
Baker and Mitch.
There you go. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
I
on the
take
same
I
way.
take Carr over Mitch.
Well, he's not a Tar Heel legend.
Isn't that what you just said? Wait, did I get the question wrong, or were you just making a dumb joke about the Tar
No,
Heels?
I'm saying I would take Mitch over David Carr just based on that.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. I
Okay.
take him over
I was
both
making
Carrs.
sure I had the right three people.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, hey, we're up on the hour here. We usually go
Yeah,
live
I'm
an
out of
hour
beer.
when it's a normal Tuesday night. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's I saw the joke that it's St. Patrick's Day, bars are closed in Boston, and Tom Brady is let go, so people can't even go drink their sorrows out at the bar. And it was nice of Brady. You know, Brady obviously waited for Cam and Luke to exit the NFC South before he stepped foot in it. So
Smart. Smart on
finally
his part.
he
I
is
like that.
he's in. But I think the NFL draft is just down to fans now, right?
Fans.
You
And
mean
I
players?
mean no fans. Sorry, no fans.
I'd
Yeah,
be
no-
shocked
no
they even
fans.
have players.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy because WWE just announced that the WrestleMania event will take place in the Performance Center, man.
Dude,
no fans.
I know they've
It's
had
crazy.
so Salesman needs us to stay on another hour. So if you guys want to talk about marble racing, we can do.
Oh boy, if they can find a way for me to gamble on that,
Dude, that was the most intense 2 minutes of video I've ever watched. I
Wait,
think
wait,
I
wait
stood
a
up.
like
minute.
3 or 4 of them
You mean
now,
like
right?
you mean like marbles, like the circle, small, hard things?
Yeah,
Oh,
people are like
yeah.
digging trenches and putting like dozens of marbles in there,
Yeah,
and like the commentary, they're naming them. Bobby, it's amazing.
that's all we got
So
going.
now I have something to look. Last time
Yeah.
I looked up the little horses, like with the heads. You know the horses that like they're toy horses with like a stick coming out of the head.
Oh
They
yeah,
actually
Yeah, with the
have
ones where you
racing
roll the ball?
competitions for
Yeah.
those.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go,
they
I'm
actually
gonna
have
watch
racing
some,
competitions for
Quidditch,
those. So now I gotta watch them.
Quidditch highlights.
Dude, it's
There you
crazy. I've been so here's this is totally tangent, but quarantine subject. You go to play Call of Duty, right?
Uh-huh.
I had a 90 gig update. 90
insane.
gigabytes. Like, dude, what do we? It's hard to pass the time. So it's just like,
It's
we have to watch some of these marble races. They're pretty intense, man. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah, guys that are dealing with the virus right now, man, y'all be safe. Don't be knuckleheads. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't go doing anything crazy. Just stay safe with your family.
yeah. So like, I mean, just an update from me. Like, we're basically a day or two away from basically being completely shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, bars and restaurants shut down here today at 5.
You did, okay.
so
It's weird, man. It's
strange
it's-
times,
it's-
guys.
it's a weird thing because you guys know I'm a musician. That's actually another part of why we haven't done a pod in a while. I actually joined
fault.
a real band.
Yeah, don't forget to plug the album.
No, I don't want to. I don't like to plug it on here. But I was in a different city like every weekend, and
Dalton and the Sheriffs on
Oh,
iTunes and Spotify.
there you go. That kind of became my thing. And now I'm home. I have no shows. Our big St. Patrick's Day shows were canceled. We were supposed to play at the Garden in a month, in the venue in the Garden, not the actual Garden. All canceled.
I would just say the Garden.
Yeah, I like to say the Garden.
You were allegedly coming to Raleigh.
We were gonna come to Raleigh, Chicago, San Diego, all canceled. So it's a weird time. I have a lot of friends that rely on that money, and everything's live streamed now. So I'm glad that we could hang out here and talk with you guys, have some beers. We'll try to do more of these. Maybe this will kind of bring the pod back now that we have some football to talk about. But the weird thing is we're talking about all this stuff, and I don't know when we might see these new players on these new teams even play again. I mean, do you think the NFL year goes off on time?
I think it's got.
I know no one can really say right now. It's such
if
a
I had
crazy
to
time.
bet
but-
on it, I would not bet on it. I mean, especially like I don't know, since we've been on tonight, Kansas canceled school for the rest of the calendar, or I'm sorry, the school year.
I mean, we're
you
off
know.
till mid-April. And I say
mean,
I'm not in school, but yeah.
I just, man, I don't think we want to get going down this rabbit hole, but I think
No, but
there's
I'm just saying it's kind of interesting.
they've got the best chance of starting on time, in terms of Well, I guess everybody else has already started except for baseball.
Well, the only reason I say that, and I'm not being insensitive, obviously this is one of the craziest things we've all ever dealt with in our lives.
Yeah.
But all of these things on a normal schedule, the draft would be a month away. And
right at.
and a lot of things like are up in the air about that, and it's just a crazy time to see all these players moving around teams with more of the unknown. I that's what I was kind of just touching upon. I didn't want to go too deep into it, but
Bottom line, stay safe out there, guys.
yes, please wash your hands and all
Wash
that
Stay
your
stuff.
safe and be
hands.
smart, man.
Don't touch your face.
Anyway, as news pops up, we'll pop back on here. I think this will now that we have news, we have a whatever you want to call the status of the Panthers right now. We have a status versus just wondering. The Carolina Christian McCaffreys might be okay in in 2020, but it's good to talk to you guys again. Haven't talked. I know we text,
Sure.
but haven't heard your voices in a while. And all you guys on Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube too. So actually, Twitter is Periscope, huh? Threw it in there
We
twice.
should try Twitch.
We should try. We should just try them all.
Yeah.
Well, I always wanted to do Instagram, but you have to use your phone. So
Yeah. We should do Twitch.
yeah.
So hot.
Anyways, guys, we'll be back on here. It was awesome hanging out. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Stay safe, and this will be up as a pod tomorrow. And thanks for joining in and giving us your feedback. We always love it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Later.
For sure.
Love you, Cam.
Yeah, love you, Cam.